Hi, welcome on to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal, or as somebody said to me yesterday in the comments section, you should call it Benzema Daily. And you know what? He ain't far wrong there. It is becoming like Benzema Daily at the moment because he's the one on everybody's lips. Left out of the Real Madrid team last night. How much should we read into that? How much should we read into the fact that Benzema wasn't even in the squad last week? Real Madrid last night. Real Madrid have been saying all week, more or less, that he's been carrying a slight injury. I think he missed the last training session. That's what the speculation is. But it was interesting that he was left out of the team last night. Was not on the bench. I mean, do we read into that the fact that they are preparing to sell him? Because there was rumours flying around yesterday that deal's definitely going to get done. Probably the most I've heard for a long time since this first appeared. And it was very interesting. I watched the game last night. Very interesting. They drew 0-0 with Sporting Gijón, a team that they were expected to beat. They had lots of attacks, and I gotta say, they looked a little bit toothless up front. I mean, A.F.C, who many people are saying that in Madrid, they're saying that he's going to be the guy that could possibly replace Benzema if he goes. He didn't really look great. I was hoping he was going to score a hat-trick last night so that all the Madrid fans would be saying, yeah, get rid of Benzema. But he didn't look up to much last night. It's only the first game, of course. And, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo and Bale they were playing down the flanks. Ronaldo wasn't playing centrally, but those two didn't really get going either. Although when A.F.C came off, Bale was playing a bit more centrally. But the fact remains, the game finished 0-0. They didn't score a goal. And if you're the Real Madrid president, you might be looking on that and thinking, well, hold on a minute. You know, without our main striker missing, we drew 0-0 with Sporting Gijón. Nah, we need to keep hold of him. That's why I was hoping for a big win. I was hoping for a massive win for Real Madrid last night with A.F.C scoring a hat-trick or Ronaldo or Bale killing it, but it just didn't happen. So what do we read into that? I mean, there's rumours, as I said, abound yesterday, today, that it's going to get done. £50 million will get the deal done. I still think there's a lot more to go on this. And it just, as Chris Hudson said to me right at the start of the transfer window, he said to me, see you on September the 1st. And this one looks like one of those. But I don't know what to read into it last night, but it was very interesting that he wasn't in the squad at all for Real Madrid's opener. Lots of people still say that Arsenal are going to go for Cavani because Cavani will be easier to get and cheaper to get than getting Benzema. Again, I don't see why everybody thinks that Cavani will be easier to get. I mean, Cavani, I don't think PSG really want to sell him. Although, as I've been reiterating it day after day after day, he doesn't really get on with Laurent Blanc. I don't know. I really don't know with Cavani. He was great, but I just haven't seen it for a long time. But could come into the Premier League, revitalise his career. You know, could that be the spark that he needs? Playing under Wenger, playing with the creativity of Mesut Ozil and guys that are behind him. I mean, his movement and power and pace is excellent. But I don't know if it'd be a lot of money and he is knocking on a bit in age. Would Arsene Wenger take a chance with him? Arsene Wenger has come out yesterday, actually, and said that he is prepared to take a gamble on the right player. So could that gamble be a player like Edison Cavani? We're going to have to wait and see. But we saw yesterday with that game, Chelsea against West Bromwich Albion, we saw with that game the impact that a new signing can have. Pedro was inspired in that game. He scored. He set up a goal. You can see that he created a buzz around Chelsea. Chelsea have been flat since the start of the season, and even though they still only just about won the game, but they won the game, but it was Pedro's spark that lifted Chelsea, and that's going to go into the next game, and that's what a brand new signing can do for you. And I think it would be amazing to have somebody like a Benzema or Cavani at Arsenal. It would give us the same kind of effect, and I'm hoping that Arsene Wenger's thinking the same thing. Interestingly, with that game yesterday at West Bromwich Albion, Saido Berahino left out of the West Bromwich Albion squad by Tony Pulis, not in the squad at all. Very similar to Benzema, and all the speculation is that he's going to be moving to Tottenham Hotspurs. They've already put one bid in for him that was rejected. But I wanted to ask you guys this question today: what about Berahino? Listen, he's not Benzema, he's not Edison Cavani, he's not on that level. But what if we can't get Benzema, we can't get Edison Cavani? Is Berahino an option? He's only 22, this kid, just turned as well. So he's got a massive future ahead of him. He scores goals, he's quick, he is a striker, he's a very good striker, you know, and he's getting better and better. Would Berahino be, you know, a decent buy? I mean, what cost about anything between about 20 to 25 million pounds, so it wouldn't be very expensive, especially for a young player. I know he's only done it at West Brom. He's not really done it on the highest level. Has just started to burst into the England team as well. But what about Berahino? Would that be worth a punt if we wasn't able to get hold of the main targets? I can see some fans now saying, what? Yeah. Berahino, we want Benzema, but listen, you've got to have preparations in place that if you don't get the main targets, is that an option? Berahino, I'll leave it up to you guys. Leave it in the comments below. Would you think Berahino could fit into the Arsenal team, would be a good option? Would it be worth going out there and gazumping that off of Spurs, because it does look like he's going to be heading to Spurs? Let me know what you think. Finally, Lars Bender, yet again, all over the place today. Bender being linked with a move to Arsenal. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would be very happy to see Lars Bender coming in at Arsenal. He's been a long-term target. We've bid for him previously in the past, haven't been able to get him. We're being told 18 million would get it done. I don't think that's much for a player of his caliber. Bender at Arsenal, you know, in there with competing with Francis Coquelin. Do you think Wenger would do that? Let's wait and see. But again, when we talk about players that will be difficult to get but are gettable, he's one of them. He'd be difficult to get, but if you go in there with the right offer, I'm sure that Leverkusen would take the money for Lars Bender, even though he's a very important part of their team. But let's wait and see what happens with that one. But Lars Bender everywhere today being linked with a move to Arsenal. Let's get into your comments. Alejandro Bosque says Benzema would be a great signing for Arsenal, and I think Wanyama would be too, but I prefer Krivchaviak. Wanyama, as I said yesterday, you know, I asked people, what do you think of Wanyama? Do you think, a bit like what I'm saying with Berahino today, would he make a good signing at Arsenal? Going through the general comments, I have to say it's about 50-50. Some people really say, yeah, infused, say he would be good. Other people like saying, no, it just hasn't got the technical skill to play at Arsenal. Magicoma 18 says 100% I would take Wanyama. Way more physical than any Arsenal player we've got. Babini says would rather have Cavani. He works hard, his movement is good, and he's a better finisher than Benzema. I think Benzema's best quality is that he sets up others a lot, and with the midfield that we've got, that ability he has is pointless. Chris Hounslow says Real Madrid are not going to sell Benzema, not to Arsenal, not to United. It ain't happening, Robbie. Does he work for Real Madrid? You can't be 100% sure. ABD7791 said Wanyama would be great. Kyle Watkinson says we can get Benzema for 50 million plus a pound. And finally here, Alex Joe says, imagine if United do a Chelsea to Arsenal and get Benzema by throwing in De Gea to make the deal happen. He goes, what would be our thoughts then? Our thoughts would be shock, horror. If that happened, it really would be. Listen, looking forward to the game tonight. Arsenal versus Liverpool. I don't know about you guys, I hate Monday games. You got to wait the whole weekend watching everybody else play. I want my games. When Arsenal going to get a Saturday game at 3 o'clock? I mean, our next game, early kickoff Saturday. Wow. But, I mean, looking forward to the game tonight. It's a massive game. Arsenal versus Liverpool. It's a big game at any time, but very, very big tonight. Arsenal need to continue on the performance from Crystal Palace. 3 points would be massive for Arsenal and really put a statement in. Liverpool, as we know, they've made lots of new signings. They're going to be a very decent proposition tonight. They always give us a tough game, but I'm feeling confident ahead of that game that we can get a victory in that game. Wouldn't it be nice if at half-time Karim Benzema strolled onto the pitch and went, hey, hi, glad to be at Arsenal? That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Thanks for watching AFTV Transfer Daily, or should I say Benzema Daily. We'll be back tomorrow.